Eureka, 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 Eureka!
I got it!
Welcome to Eureka Publication Private Limited, creators of engaging textbooks and digital learning tools. Let's dive right in.
Welcome! Today we'll set up and visualize the classic copper plating on an iron nail experiment. We'll build an intuitive picture of what's happening in the beaker, then answer 4 questions: what we observe, the reactants and products, the reaction type, and the balanced chemical equation. First, the materials and the procedure. Materials: a beaker, copper sulfate solution, an iron nail, and a thread. Procedure: 1. Fill the beaker halfway with copper sulfate solution. 2. Tie the nail with the thread and dip it completely into the solution. 3. Leave it undisturbed overnight. 4. Observe the changes the next day. Let's draw the setup so we can watch what happens over time. Here is our beaker half filled with copper sulfate and the iron nail tied to a thread and fully immersed. Now, imagine leaving this overnight. By the next day, 2 clear changes are seen. 1. The nail looks coated with a reddish-brown metal. That is copper. 2. The blue solution fades toward green, indicating iron 2 sulfate in solution. Question A. What change do you observe? Answer: the iron nail develops a copper coating, and the copper sulfate solution loses its strong blue color and becomes green due to iron 2 sulfate. Question B. What are the reactants and products? Reactants: iron and copper sulfate in water. Products: iron 2 sulfate in solution and copper metal on the nail. Question C. What type of reaction is this? It is a single displacement, also called single replacement, because iron displaces copper from copper sulfate. It is also a redox process. Iron atoms are oxidized to iron 2+, losing electrons, and copper 2+ ions are reduced to copper metal by gaining those electrons. Question D. What is the balanced chemical equation? The full molecular equation is iron solid plus copper sulfate aqueous yields iron 2 sulfate aqueous plus copper solid. The net ionic view highlights the heart of the change. Iron atoms become iron 2+, and copper 2+ becomes copper metal. The sulfate ion is a spectator. To summarize, iron is more reactive than copper, so it displaces copper from copper sulfate. Copper plates onto the nail, and iron 2 sulfate forms in solution, turning it green. This simple setup beautifully shows a single displacement reaction and the electron flow of a redox process.
This session was brought to you by Eureka Publication Private Limited. Think it, dream it, do it. Join us for the next lesson. Till then, like, subscribe, and share. Eureka Digital Publications, creators of trusted textbooks and digital learning tools.